Good morning folks, this is Naeem Aslam, Chief Market Analyst at AvaTrade. Welcome to our daily fundamental video analysis. Let's begin by looking at the price action and see what happened in the energy sector yesterday. Now, WTI, West Texas crude oil, the contract for the month of May went all the way in negative territory to -40. That print really surprised everyone in the market. No one was expecting or anticipating for that print to be that dire or this worse. With -40, like who would have really imagined that oil prices can really trade in negative territory? I'm not speaking of interest rates, which are pretty much just artificially printing the money out and then just reducing that to some extent. But oil is a physical commodity. It has an actual use. Our lives are based around the consumption of energy, and oil plays a very, very important part. So oil trading in negative territory was really something to out of extraordinary, something that no one had anticipated, something that no one was expecting it. But when we look at the equity markets, the move in the equity market, as you can see in the chart, in the Dow Jones charts, that the move to the downside wasn't really that aggressive. It was a gradual move to the downside. The market closed lower, that's okay, over 300 or 400 points, but that is just a normal norm. So for the equity market, for the US equity market, it wasn't really that much of a panic. Now, it makes you think that the oil prices are trading in negative territory or zero at the best, or perhaps if we really are taking at the positive side, then it's trading at $2 or $3. That is nowhere close enough to that break-even point for the US shale oil industry, and that break-even point for the US shale oil industry is at $30. If we are speaking of the biggest producer who has the biggest leverage with respect to the break-even point, it is Saudi Arabia. And even for them, according to various different research notes, their break-even point is between $4 to $5. Not for the US shale oil industry, where the break-even point is at $30 and the price of WTI is trading in negative or in around zero or a $2, $3, and the equity market isn't even feeling the pain. That makes you think that what exactly is happening in this market? Where is the disconnect? Either the prices in the oil market are completely overly done, or there is something wrong with the pricing over there, because WTI trading in negative territory is something that I cannot think of. But when I look at the equity market, even as of today, the US futures, they are only down by 200 or 300 points. Does that make sense to you? No, absolutely not to me, because when I look at that US futures market, and then I should see, if the price action is going to reflect what happened in the energy market, that price action should show massive plunge. Why? Because US shale oil industry is at a massive risk. There is a huge amount of jobs going to go down, right? And because once the job starts laying off, once the industry starts to bankrupt, then obviously everything is going to have a domino effect on the entire industry. But for now, we are not seeing. Perhaps the silver lining, what traders are really looking at in the equity space, is that the increase in volatility in the oil market is perhaps its only temporary reason, and the oil prices which moved back yesterday, that was just purely because of the May contract, because there wasn't enough storage space. Perhaps things will improve when we move on to the June contract, which we have, and then there will be more storage space for oil, and there will be some resumption of oil because of the global lockdown easing off. Now, if that is the case, then yes, you got to sit tight, you got to ride off this volatility, and then hope for the best that we see some of that demand coming back up. But despite all of this, we are seeing some pressure in the equity market, especially in the energy sector, with the likes of BP and Shell all trading down. But again, not a massive move. It's like only 4 to 5% move to the downside, which really makes you laugh or makes you think that when WTI, the underlying asset, has gone into negative territory, why these stocks are really trading down only by 4 or 5%. But that's all for today. Remember, you can protect your upside or downside by using AvaProtect. See you guys tomorrow.